We've seen a lot debuted from Modern Warfare 2 since the reveal on Wednesday. Lots of cool stuff from gameplay to information about campaign and even some multiplayer stuff to things that maybe you may have missed, like the gunsmith changes. All of that sort of stuff we've talked about here on the channel already, so if you're interested in diving deeper, feel free to check the videos up on the channel already. However, today, before we dive into some more deeper looks at specific information, I wanted to talk a little bit about how Modern Warfare 2 looks to be tackling a problem set in motion by Modern Warfare 2019. Unbeknownst to you, or if you're actively aware of it, if all things go according to plan with this, I think that this absolutely may be a great change upcoming and going forward. So today, we're breaking it down and why you should possibly be excited for it. As we go along, drop your thoughts down below. What change are you hoping to see made from any of the prior games coming into Modern Warfare 2? Whatever the case, feel free to drop your thoughts below. But if you enjoy the video, you find this upcoming change at all positive, and/or you're just excited for Modern Warfare 2, do me a favor and drop a like on the video. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a single thing regarding all things Modern Warfare 2. Again, this is just the tip of the iceberg. I've got like the next week or so here scheduled with details of Modern Warfare 2 stuff that I don't think you want to miss. So make sure you stick it here for all of it. And finally, my friends over at G Fuel have bumped up code Espresso to 30% off in celebration of Modern Warfare 2's reveal. So if you guys want to try something out for the very first time, grab a restock. Now is seriously as best a time as any. Personally, my top 5, if you're looking for any recommendations: Pink Drip, the new Morbius Nectarine flavor, Hype Sauce, Strawberry Banana, and Starfruit. That's probably what I'd go with. Can't go wrong with any of those, but if you're interested, check the link in the description below. That said, today's video, full disclaimer right up front, it doesn't have a nicely tied bow on it. It doesn't have that 100% closure that we may be looking for when looking about cool things upcoming. But why I want to talk about this and bring this up early on in the midst of concrete coverage of everything else is because this is an issue that's been there since Modern Warfare 2019 and seems to be pointing towards this being fixed from the marketing that we've already seen for Modern Warfare 2. Today we're talking about blueprints and the new potentially revised system called vaults. So for those of you that have been here on the channel for the last few years, you've probably inevitably at one point seen a blueprint of some kind. Blueprints from Modern Warfare 2019 were introduced to utilize the weapon gunsmith system built out to give even more uniqueness to a weapon build. That was the whole platform and baseline of the gunsmith in the first place, to give a unique experience and a custom build for every single weapon imaginable, solely for that player using it, finding that one custom tailored to them. The combinations for weapon builds, I'd easily say, has to be in the 5 to 6 figure range, if not more, across all the weapons in Modern Warfare 2019. But blueprints were introduced as a substitute to prior further customization options that we had. Instead of camos, unfortunately, we had blueprints. I'm still, of course, in that mindset of a universal camo for everything is better, but talking blueprints here with it, it was cool in theory up until the point where you actually got your hands on some weapons, and then I'm sure that you've come across it at least once in the last 3 years, where it's specific to attachments. So if you change one of those attachments, you could either drastically change that sort of unique camo pattern a blueprint offered, or in some cases, entirely nullify the design overall that you either earned in game, or in some cases, perhaps even paid for. A huge flaw in that system. One that honestly, I'd wager eats into revenues even for Call of Duty, which as a brand, as a business, they absolutely should be conscious of. I know that I've passed up dozens, if not hundreds of blueprints over the last 3 years because the design is either nullified slightly or entirely, and I'm just like, it's not worth it. This has been acknowledged even recently by developers. I think the last mention that I remember hearing about this was about a few months ago with creators and press meeting with Infinity Ward top brass, where I want to say it was Pat Kelly, studio head at Infinity Ward, who acknowledged that they wanted to fix this ongoing issue, but it was definitely known and talked about behind the scenes. That's where we enter Modern Warfare 2's reveal. Amidst all of the information upcoming for Modern Warfare 2, we saw the inclusion of quite a bit of the upcoming editions of the game, a standard, cross-gen, and in the interest of our discussion here, the Vault edition of Modern Warfare 2. Now, the Vault edition has a few things that are certainly interesting that I think we'll dive deeper into on the channel here upcoming, but for the sake of our discussion, what we want to talk about is the namesake of the edition, the FJX Cinder Weapon Vault. Now, this is described as the ultimate weaponist team, and great teams need the right tools for the toughest missions. We plan to share more details on the FJX Cinder Weapon Vault and the new gunsmith closer to Modern Warfare 2's launch. So, not much, right? I mean, they kind of go right past what this actually is, but the image associated with it gives plenty of clues. Now, this again is where it comes back to, again, there's no clean answer for this just yet, but if, knowing what we just mentioned, this is a long-lasting issue that developers are aware of, and I'm sure has cost Call of Duty a lot of money long-term, when we look at the given image, you see an M4, black with red trim, a skull design, and a ton of attachment variations, all uniformly designed with additional red trim. So what's that mean? If I'm a betting man, this is a revised system of the blueprint system that allows for the full design at best, slight alterations to the design at worst, to carry over across your weapon builds regardless of what attachments you end up using. So you want to change that barrel while keeping the red aesthetic? No problem. You want to change that stock without losing the red trim? No problem. You want to change that muzzle without losing the cool details on it? No problem. While not detailed explicitly just yet, to me, this is exactly what it looks like. And if it is indeed the case, I'm all for that. And it kind of checks out from what we've already seen elsewhere, even though it's not explicitly stated. If you take a look at what we normally get with these sort of Ultimate Edition variations of the game, the Vault Edition being that top tier level, we don't know if there's going to be any sort of Collector's Edition just yet, but it's in line with customization offerings that we normally see in the past. For Vanguard, it was the Breacher STG, Snowstorm Type 99, I think that is, and the Thunderhead Type 100 blueprints that we got there. Cold War, it was the Sucker Punch Howler, the Black Tide XM4, and the Wingman 1911 with subsequent skins for the Land, Sea, and Air packs, on top of the Confrontations weapon pack, which we ended up getting for the M16 and AK-47. And in Modern Warfare 2019, we had the Javelina 1911, 1337 or Leet Skeet 680, and the Grassy Knoll HDR, but you also received the XRK weapons pack with a blueprint for the M4 and a Magnum as well. So we have customization items granted all of the time for sort of weapon blueprints, but with this, it seems like it's just a little different. But a weapon customization offering that we see no less. But while I might be thinking, okay, well, the other stuff was blueprints, sure, we already have other blueprints coming on top of this. So does this make this like a mastercraft or something above a blueprint? Maybe, but I also don't think that it really conflicts with any of the additional offerings because the Ghost Legacy Pack isn't for Modern Warfare 2. The Ghost Legacy Pack, coming with the Vault Edition, offers up all 12 of Ghost's operator skins and 10 weapon blueprints, but it's in Modern Warfare 2018 and Warzone right now for instant access, sort of retroactively rewarding the players that may not have those. Those items do not carry over and do not have any weight in the content offering upcoming in Modern Warfare 2. The only other thing that we have to kind of base this off of is the additional Red Team 141 operator pack that's included with this marketing. Included in the Vault Edition, you end up getting skins for Ghost, Pharah, Price, and Soap. But all of those weapons that they're holding are those different variations of the M4 with different attachments that we see from the FJX Cinder weapon vault. Different weapon builds, different attachments, but the same unique blueprint design, if you want to call it that, that is shared overall, which to me strengthens that argument even further. And finally, to me, the last thing that makes this sort of a revision system is that we're going to see an inventory reset for Modern Warfare 2. This allows the system to be reset and started fresh. Technically speaking, while I'm incredibly ignorant to the more in-depth nature of game development, I don't think that it'd be any easy task to retroactively adjust an entire system, building out thousands of attachment variations for the last 3 years' games, but with a hard reset as we know it coming up with Modern Warfare 2, how Warzone 2 will not have inventories carry over from the existing Warzone experience right now, starting fresh is the best time to do that, and technically speaking, is the most viable. Build a system for the future without fixing, or in a lot of cases, when updates happen, breaking things after updates of the past. Now, of course, this isn't the only explanation we could see here for this. Again, there is no concrete details just yet, only what it looks like. It also is very possible it could be specific to unique unlocks for weapon platforms. Of course, the platforms we talked about in the Gunsmith video already on the channel, that's something that the M4 will have a platform where it can go and break off into unlocked variations of the weapon, like the M16, like the Fight Light LMG belt-fed M4 variation. That kind of stuff will be stuff that we see, but I don't necessarily think that that's going to be what this entails. The worst case scenario, and absolutely worst case that I see here, is that this is a new type of blueprint, where blueprints were first introduced in Modern Warfare 2018 in the sort of new era for Warzone. Mastercrafts were introduced second with Black Ops Cold War. Yes, those were introduced in Black Ops 4, but you of course don't have those in Warzone or anything like that. And then weapon vaults being that third introduction here this year, where those are only specific in rarer bundles, including weapon vaults, where not every weapon will have that changeover. If you change an attachment, the camo stays. That would be the worst case scenario here at this, but I also don't think that they would do that. But maybe I'm crazy, who knows? I will say that if this is exactly how this happens for the future, I do have a bit of an initial worry on what the pricing may include for this. I personally think that while it's nice we have a store that we can see everything that we're going to purchase, I still think that $20 for a bundle of weapon blueprints, operator skins, and that kind of stuff is way too expensive for what it should be offered for. So while I don't really expect prices to go down, I just certainly hope they don't go up based off of this sort of revision to a potential blueprint system. And I'll say it to the day that I stop creating content, I still absolutely think camos, universally speaking, applicable on all weapons, is the best way to go for customization, but that ship kind of seems to have sailed outside of minor bonuses for things like the Call of Duty endowment packs or CDL franchise spot team packs. But fingers crossed, we might have an existing system sort of revised here that is, I think, better for a lot of people. You could potentially earn or buy a new variation of a weapon without having to sacrifice any of the cosmetic that was intriguing to you from the beginning while still changing your weapon builds. So fingers crossed, that is how this system is going to be revised, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. I did want to bring this though to you guys because I haven't seen too many people talk about this possibility just yet, but it's definitely something to keep in the back of your mind. So for right now, that's where we're gonna wrap the discussion up. Again, tons of more concrete stuff here upcoming on the channel in the next couple of days, so stick around, but let me know your thoughts down below. Would you like to see this vault system be a revision to the blueprint system? Do you hope that the blueprint system is still intact as it is now, but the vault system is added on top of it? Whatever the case, drop your thoughts below. But if you enjoyed the video, do me a favor and drop a like on it. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button so you don't miss a single thing running all things Modern Warfare 2. We've got so much still upcoming. So that said, thanks so much for watching. Honest Espresso, take care, and peace.